Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Politics and Media Show with me, Salma Yaqub. In the first half of tonight's show, we'll be reflecting on the dramatic and controversial detention by British authorities of a leading Palestinian activist. Raed Salah, who leads the Islamic Movement in Israel, was in the UK on a speaking tour and due to attend a meeting with MPs in Parliament before he was arrested last Tuesday night at his hotel in London. The government claims there was a ban on him travelling to the UK, but when Saleh arrived in Britain 3 days earlier, he encountered no problems. His presence had provoked some media reports which claimed he is anti-Semitic. However, Saleh and his party are actually not banned in Israel. And so the big question is, why is he being detained and about to be deported back to Israel by Britain? Well, before I introduce this week's guests, let's look back at events surrounding his arrest.
The leader of the Islamic Movement in Israel, Sheikh Raed Salah, has been arrested in London. Sheikh Salah, who now faces being deported, is a leading Palestinian activist and has been in the UK since Saturday, when he entered legally using his Israeli passport. He's since addressed British MPs in Parliament and spoken at large public meetings, but he was arrested at his hotel and taken to Paddington Green police station by the UK Border Police.
Yeah, I was with the Sheikh. We were in Leicester. He was lecturing there about the defilements of the Aqsa Mosque and Israeli violation against the Aqsa Mosque and against the city of Jerusalem and against the plight, about the plight of the Jerusalemites, Arab Jerusalemites in the city of Jerusalem. And then when he finished the lecture, we went back to London, to our hotel where we stay in. And when we got there, a number of policemen approached us. They treated us rudely. They didn't allow me to translate for the Sheikh what they are saying. They actually were telling him that you are under arrest and we've got an order to deport you.
Some media reports have claimed that he is banned from the UK, and the Home Secretary Theresa May said officials from the UK Border Agency were now taking steps to remove Sheikh Salah from the country. However, Sheikh Salah has been to the UK many times before, and his lawyers are set to challenge his detention as unlawful. The arrest took place just hours after reports were published in the Daily Mail and Evening Standard, which claimed that a ban was issued on Salah last week, but for one reason or another, the exclusion order had failed to be enacted and that he'd sneaked in. A statement released by the Middle East Monitor said that lawyers acting for Salah and MPs contacted the Home Office to ask for a clarification, but none was received. This, despite the fact that the British government knew of his visit well in advance.
Raed Salah is not a simple Palestinian leader. He is no doubt the leader of the largest political party inside Israel that represents Israel's Arab population. But beyond that, he is seen universally among Muslims as the foremost defender of the rights of Muslims in Jerusalem, in occupied Jerusalem, one who makes it his duty and his life work to protect the holy sites in Jerusalem. Hence the reason he is known by the name the Sheikh of Al-Aqsa. So the action of the British government will have repercussions across the Muslim world, across the Arab world, where it would be seen as the British government has bowed to pressure to humiliate a figure who is respected throughout the Muslim world.
Before he entered the UK, Sheikh Salah had already started legal action owing to allegations made against him in the British media by Andrew Gilligan of the Daily Telegraph and Robin Rosen of the Jewish Chronicle. Salah has long faced accusations that he's anti-Semitic, but he's denied that he's racist and has never been convicted of anti-Semitism in Israel. He leads the Islamic Movement, which is the largest movement for Palestinians in Israel.
Well, with me in the studio to discuss this story is Sarah Colborne of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. Thank you very much, Sarah. Welcome. We're also joined by Councillor Matt Bennett, a Conservative councillor in Birmingham. Thanks, Matt, for joining us. Well, turning to you first, Sarah, have you been surprised by what's gone on?
We were very surprised as Palestine Solidarity Campaign. The Sheikh was due to speak at a meeting last Wednesday in Parliament that we had organised. It was a public event, and so the government and all other bodies would have known about it for weeks. And so for this to happen, particularly after, as Dawood pointed out in the previous clip, after his legal team had asked for clarification and were unable to get any clarification, was deeply shocking to us. And I think the problem is that the mistake that the British government have made in trying to deport Sheikh Raed Salah, when actually he was taking legal action against those who've been defaming him, has been further damaged by the revelations on Saturday that his legal team are unable to visit him until the deadline for his appeal has passed, and so he's being denied basic rights that we all take for granted, the right to have legal advice and representation, which I think for this country is incredibly damaging.
Well, we're joined on the line by Dawood Abdullah, who was in that video that we just saw. Dawood, what is the latest? I mean, first of all, there's been this shocking scenario where he was allowed in, and later on we hear that he wasn't supposed to be here, and yet when he tries to defend himself, he's told the deadline will be up and he cannot even meet his lawyers. What's going on?
Well, I have some good news. The lawyers have been able to find out who are the exact people in the border agency responsible for this case. Throughout the weekend, we have made efforts unsuccessfully to find out exactly who is handling it. Now we know the official in charge, and we are in direct contact with him. In addition to this, we have a date for the trial, the appeal for bail, which is on Wednesday. Until now, we are not sure whether it will be in London or whether it will be in another city, but a date has been fixed. It's likely he would be released. But beyond that, there's some other good news. Today we received a letter of support from Professor Noam Chomsky. Right. Noam Chomsky is a world-renowned academic and of Jewish background. But he can support Raed Salah and dispel the very false claims that have been made against him. And I want to emphasize that when these claims were made initially, before his arrival, he said, "Take me to court. I'm willing to come to court in Britain and challenge those who defame me." So why is the British government not in court?
Well, you think in a way there may be a silver lining then. He may actually get his day in court, and all those allegations that have been made against him, he actually may have an opportunity to answer.
Yes, I must say, however, there are some very mischievous people involved in the process. We heard through our lawyers, for example, that someone is saying, well, he wants to go back to Israel. He has never conveyed this to us. We are the people who invited him, and he will instruct us whether, in fact, he has instructed us that he wants to fight this case to the end.
If I can come to you now, Councillor Bennett, has this been embarrassing that the government has intervened in this way? And was it right, do you think, that Theresa May intervened in this way?
Well, I think the very least you can say it wasn't well handled administratively, certainly. If you want to ban someone from the country, it makes sense for them to know before they come that they are banned from the country. And
clearly in this case, his lawyers had actually tried repeatedly to get clarification, because it's only in the media that they heard that he'd been banned, apparently. And so when they tried to check this, they didn't get any confirmation. So,
absolutely.
of course, reasonably assumed there wasn't a problem. So is this a media kind of storm in a teacup, and yet the government has joined the fray and actually made a statement which has been very damaging?
Well, yeah, as I say, I don't think it's been handled very well administratively. I mean, my general presumption, I have to say, with government actions is that it's more often mistakes and incompetence rather than conspiracy. That's generally what I tend to think.
So you don't think it's anything to do with some kind of powerful Israeli lobby who the government is more sympathetic to?
I'm quite sure the government listens to the Israeli lobby, but I think the timing of it is the timing of the way things worked, shall we say, is more likely to be due to incompetence than anything else, in my view.
But then why would they come in with a political statement, leave it to the admin people, as it were? It's a bureaucratic issue, but it's been made a very political issue with the Home Secretary wading in. There's
two issues. There's the issue about whether or not he should be banned, and that is political, and I'll come to that in a moment.